Hey guys, this is a wonderful animal called the Harlequin Shrimp. It is a scientific name Hymenocera picta, but commonly known as a Harlequin Shrimp. So it lives in a saltwater environment, so it lives on coral reefs. This is in my dad's fish tank, coral reef tank, where you can see quite a few other coral species as we go. But this is a very interesting video for me because this Harlequin shrimp is mostly stays hidden. But when he comes out, this is when he is being fed. So he gets fed a chocolate starfish. This is a living starfish that we buy at the reef store, local reef store, and it will come out and drag this chocolate starfish back into its little cave and basically proceed to eat it for about a week to a month. And so we kind of captured him coming out of his cave because I guess he has a strong sense of smell and he can smell this chocolate starfish. And so you can see he's coming out of his cave here and he's going to make his way toward the chocolate starfish. So as he makes his way towards this chocolate starfish, I'm going to just tell you some facts about him. Again, this is in salt water, so in the ocean, usually found in the Indian and Pacific Oceans near coral reefs. Some people split this into two different species. Hymenocera picta is one of them from the Central and East Pacific, where the spots are deep pinkish purple with a yellow edge, and then Hymenocera elegans, which is Indian Ocean and West Pacific. So this one, I tried to do color correction because the lights were very bluish, and so I did a little bit of color correction. That makes the corals appear a little bit weird, but I was trying to get a little bit away from the bluish color. But you can see he has this excellent kind of leopard pattern that really breaks up the shape of his body, and you can really see he's got some huge claws on the front of him, and there he goes. He's jumping on top of that coral, but you can see there's a starfish kind of hanging on the back of it. So he immediately kind of goes to work on using his claws and he's trying to pry this starfish off of there. Now, my dad did say that he thinks that there is some toxin, like he can inject them with kind of a paralytic toxin, and then it helps the starfish not run away. So that may be what he's doing here, is injecting him or biting him or stinging him to try to sedate him or get him to at least not be able to move before he starts the process of pulling him off of this rock and pulling him back into his cave. These Harlequin shrimp apparently feed exclusively on starfish, including something called the crown of thorns starfish. But this is what we call chocolate starfish that we buy at our local fish store, coral reef store, for basically not that much money, I think. So actually them eating these crown of thorns starfish actually reduce its consumption of the coral while it's under attack, and they then kill that starfish within a few days, according to Wikipedia. These Harlequin shrimp are usually cream colored, but this one is actually a bright white color, has some kind of black rims around its spots and kind of a bluish gray in its spots. And you can see how it's peeling the starfish away from the coral and getting it free, and then it'll proceed to try to drag it back slowly to its cave. But there you go, you can see him pulling him away from the rock. So in the Pacific Ocean, many of these shrimp have red spots, but in the Indian Ocean, they typically have purple spots. The Hawaiian one has purple and red spots on its body, so this seems like it's more like the Indian Ocean kind of variety, because it seems like kind of purple, bluish gray kind of spots. And I apologize for the color. It was quite blue when we were filming this, but you can see him working on that starfish. He's just kind of dragging it and maybe plucking away at some of those little suction cups on the bottom of the starfish. So the shrimp has 2 walking legs on each side and large claws, or calipoda. The claws and eyes appear to look flattened and thin on its head. The shrimp has something that are petal-like sensory antennules to smell out its prey. So the things on the very top of its head are basically a good way to smell. You can see them kind of wafting around in the current of the water there. These shrimp are found in Hawaii through the Indo-Pacific, below the intertidal zone on coral reefs. They prefer temperatures of 72 to 82 degrees, but they're becoming very rare because of the changes to the coral reef, environmental changes, etc. As we've already seen in this video, the shrimp are very skilled at flipping over slow starfishes onto their backs, which leaves them very vulnerable. They then go ahead and start eating the tube feet and the soft tissues, and then it works its way towards the central disc. So sometimes as we see this shrimp feeding, we will see that starfish and it's missing a limb. It may be missing 2 limbs, and they're basically eating it from the underside. Sometimes the starfish will shed the arm and try to regrow it, but it's usually too wounded to regrow, and by the time it's that sick, the shrimp has already consumed most of it. The shrimp can also feed on sea urchins because they do have tube feed as well, but that is rare, and they only eat them if the starfish, they can't find starfish. You can see how it would be a lot harder with the sea urchin spines to kind of work their way in between those spines to be able to get to the soft parts that they would be able to eat. So, according to Wikipedia, the Harlequin shrimp moves at a very slow pace, but we saw it actually can move across that fish tank at a pretty good pace. You can see it's kind of dragging the starfish and trying to lift it up onto the rock, meanwhile kind of attacking some fish that are kind of swimming by. But you see some good detail on those smelling apparatus on the top of the head, which are called antennules, sensory antennules. These Harlequin shrimp may also have some toxins for its prey, which could make it distasteful and potentially dangerous from predators. The shrimp also moves its claws almost constantly. And here I just wanted to zoom out to give you some context of the little corals around, and you can see how it walked all the way to that coral on the lower right, and that's where the starfish had started. And now it's dragged it back probably about 8 inches away at this point, and continues to try to draw it back and pull it back into its little cave in the live rock. Here you can see it's just working away, trying to pull that starfish kind of up over the rock, and you can see it using all of its claws and legs. Just a beautiful animal. And it has to work its way past some of these other corals. I think that's an anemone on the left. Here's a little bit of a different view. You can see he's still trying to lift up this starfish and get it up over this rock in order to get it back into his cave. Again, zooming out to give you the context. So that starfish started on that coral at the lower right of your screen, and he's now pulled it across the sand and is trying to lift it up over that rock and get it back into that cave. So just an amazing animal. I wanted to share this with you guys, and thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe and watch for my other content.